As of today, there are approximately 27 million people around the globe that are brought into modern-day slavery. Modern-day slavery is known as human trafficking. It is the illegal trade of human beings, mainly for the purpose of commercial sexual exploitation or forced labor. 50% of these people are women and 50% are children. It can be your son, daughter, sister, brother, and even your mother. I would like to share the stories of two young girls, one who was exploited in sex trafficking and the other in labor trafficking. These stories are of Asia Graves and Maria. Maria's real name and face has been kept unpublicized. Asia Graves recalls the night a man paid $200 on a Boston street to have sex with her. She was 16, homeless, and desperate for food. He was the first of dozens of men who would buy her body from a human trafficker who exploited her vulnerabilities and made her a prisoner for years. Graves, now 24, speaks out of the man who organized these deals. The girls and her would have to call him daddy or fear being severely abused. She spoke about how it was all about love and thinking you were part of a family. Yet she remembers not being able to leave in fear of being killed. By day she was a schoolgirl who saw her family occasionally. At night she became a slave to men who said they loved her and convinced her to trade her beauty for cash that they pocketed. Sold from Boston to Miami and back, Graves was one of the thousands of young girls sexually exploited across the United States. Maria was only 12 when she met her abuser, Sandra Bearden. Bearden was a 27-year-old homemaker in a suburb of Laredo, Texas. She is married and a mother of a 4-year-old son and lives in a perfectly middle-class existence. Sandra Bearden at the time was looking for a maid rather than having someone locally. She drove across the border to a small poor village near Veracruz, Mexico, where she was introduced to Maria. Bearden offered Maria's parents an opportunity for their daughter to have an education and a job. Being of Mexican descent, Maria's parents felt they could trust her enough. Bearden smuggled Maria into the United States. On arrival, Maria was dragged into hell. Sandra would use violence and terror to gain obedience. From early morning till mid-afternoon, Maria cooked, cleaned, scrubbed, and polished. When Bearden thought Maria was not working fast enough, she would pepper spray her in the eye. Once a broom was broken over her back and once a bottle. At one point, Bearden tortured Maria by jamming a garden tool up her vagina. On days Maria wasn't working, Bearden would chain Maria to a pole in the backyard without food or water. An 8-foot concrete fence prevented the neighbors from seeing what was going on. Maria was forced to eat dog feces. Maria was very dehydrated, and out of hunger she would eat dirt. Luckily, one of Bearden's neighbors was working on his roof and saw Maria and called 911. When help came for Maria, she was badly burned from the heat outside, dehydrated, and had not eaten in 4 days. It's hard to imagine that Maria was one of the lucky ones. Most domestic labor slaves are never rescued or found alive. These are just two of the millions of stories that need to be told. Unfortunately, most are never spoken of and go unknown. It is hard to believe that a human being can commit such a cruel act towards another human being. More stories should be told so that more and more people can be aware of how much of a big deal human trafficking is. It's happening here now in our nation, not just in other foreign countries. It's right here happening in our backyard. Take a step to help by raising awareness. Tell others about this underground world of human trafficking.